Today I'm going to share with you one of the primary psychological concepts in the whole of psychology. It's going to help you understand yourself better, other people better, and society and the world around you. So it's called the pain-pleasure principle. And it's one of the biggest pieces of psychology. Here's what drives all action, creates all motivation, creates all influence. The human mind is hardwired to move towards pleasure and away from pain. And you're saying, well, I know that. No, this drives every single action that you do. You will weigh out these two things. You're going to do what's called a cost-benefit analysis. Now, sometimes people do a cost-benefit analysis, but it's short-term. Some people are real short-term thinkers, and they say, well, is this going to cause pain or pleasure right now? They call it the primacy rule. For most people, even long-term thinkers, but mostly short-term thinkers, sooner is more powerful than later. Like if I say I'm going to smack you upside the head a week from now, you go, oh, that won't be so bad. And you're thinking that's way off. But if I say I'm going to smack you upside the head right now, all of a sudden, whether or not you get smacked up beside the head becomes wildly urgent to you. I just like using that funny analogy.
Snap out of it.
The primacy rule states that sooner is more important than later. So the pain-pleasure principle simply states that you move towards pleasure and away from pain. They sometimes, especially in neurolinguistic programming, call this a push-pull strategy. We're pulled towards pleasure, we're attracted to it, and we're pushed away from pain. Think of it like you're trying to move a cart. What's the best way to move a cart? Is it to push it or is it to pull it? What's the correct answer? The correct answer is push. You will actually do 2.5 times as much to avoid pain as you will to gain pleasure. Now, what would be the ultimate system? If I were trying to push a cart and I had the power to push and pull and I wanted to move in a given direction, what's the best way to do it? Use both. So I would try to pull the cart in this direction and I would try to push the cart in this direction. I would use pleasure to draw it in this direction and I would also use pain to push it in that direction. It's kind of like when you're parenting your kids. I did a lot of parenting. I've got one of the best-selling courses, probably nationally and internationally, called Advanced Parenting Techniques or Skills. I'm trying to think which one I went with, but it's Advanced Parenting. And we answer the question there. Should you use the carrot or the stick with your kids? What's the correct answer? I just told you, use both. So tell your child, hey, if you take the garbage out and that's your chore for the week, if you do that, you get a reward. It's called your allowance. If you don't, you get a crack in the rear end. So you have two opportunities here. One, to gain a reward, and two, to avoid a punishment. I know what I would recommend to a friend. That way, coming and going on both ends of the formula, the kid knows to go in that direction. Like a kid might say, well, I'm not going to take out the trash just because you're going to give me a crack in the rear end. I'll take the crack in the rear end. That's quicker than taking the garbage out. You take the garbage out. But if that same child says, well, then I'm not going to have any money for the week and I'm going to get a crack in the butt, I'll take the garbage out. Now, some kids will say, hey, if you give me $1 to take the garbage out, I'll run out and take the garbage. It only takes me like 30 seconds. Quickest buck you'll ever make. Other kids say, $1, that's nothing. I need like $5 to buy anything, so why bother? You take out the garbage. See how it works? So you want to work it from both ends. That's the strongest, and that's how you can be the most influential. So do the same thing in your mind. When you want to get yourself to do something, give yourself pleasure and picture pleasure in getting the reward of the thing. But then also look at the pain. What would this mean if I didn't do this? And what would be the consequence if I didn't do this? And think about that. Use those twin powers of pain and pleasure, and you'll motivate yourself to do anything. When you're trying to get your kids to do something, use pain and pleasure. When you're trying to motivate somebody else or convince somebody else to do something, say, hey, if you do this, you'll gain all these things over here. But of course, if you don't do it, you're going to have all these challenges over here. Use both. Not one or the other, both. Now, at some point, I'll have trainings on these on this site. It may already be there by the time you're looking at this, depending upon when you're watching this video. Go ahead and like and subscribe and get into my YouTube site and look through the playlist, and you'll probably find some either motivation or persuasion trainings. They're kind of two ways to get to the same thing. I'll also leave some links in the description if you want to grab a course on either of those right now. They're amazingly detailed, amazingly powerful. Be able to motivate both yourself and others, and to be able to influence people. Those are two of the great, almost like superpowers that you can have in life. And as you look up above, that's my WAP site. It's going to be put in there for free, so that'll be part of your low-cost monthly membership. You can grab it there as well. That's your tip for today, and I'll see you in my very next training.